business loans fast. Actually, what are the fastest kind of business loans you can get? Well, during today's training, I'm going to map out all the ones that we found that are the best, that are the easiest and fastest types of loans you can get. I mean, we're talking about money today. You can literally secure in less than 24 hours credit lines and loans. And actually, there's surprisingly more of these out there than you may think that there are. We're going to be diving into that and decoding all of it today. Before we do, let me remind you, on March 21st, 2022, we are launching our Business Loan Broker Challenge. So for anybody out there that has an interest in offering business credit, offering financing as a service, actually succeeding as a loan broker, maybe you are and you want to do better in your business, maybe you want to start and launch a business loan brokerage company, everything you need to know to do so, we've got for 100% free as part of this event, the Business Loan Broker Challenge. Industry's never done anything like this before. And I have somehow, through a miracle, managed to pull out all the gurus in the space, like literally the top gurus in the business loan broker challenge or business loan broker space are all coming to the challenge to teach you. So you hear from all of the country's best trainers on being a business loan broker, from marketing to branding to getting loans to closing loans, all of it. It all takes place March 21st. All you do is go to businessloanbrokerchallenge.com to register. 100% free, businessloanbrokerchallenge.com. Okay, so let's talk about it. Obviously, a lot of reasons you can need money fast. We run into one of the most common ones, of payroll. People are in it buying. They don't realize till last minute they don't have the money to meet payroll. And I can tell you that more times than I can remember, we've helped people meet that need. Even when it was a day or 2 days is all they had noticed that they needed the money to do so. So a lot of expected expenses that just cannot wait, things that pop up. So we see people that have credit lines that are called due. All of a sudden, they got to pay $50,000 to the bank back on the credit line that they had outstanding within 30 days or within 3 weeks. There's also a lot of things that are unexpected or surprises that come up as well. Some things you just didn't anticipate. Well, obviously, COVID, happened overnight, shut everybody's business down, completely unexpected. The need for access to capital was there. People needed it quickly, right? Unplanned cash flow issues. So all kinds of things can cause a disruption. Your merchant account gets shut down. Very practical. That probably happens all the time. I've been in that scenario where all of a sudden you get a notice you just can't accept credit cards anymore. And you've got days to weeks before you can bring in another source to be able to help you process credit cards again, or something else happens that all of a sudden, I've had, clients that I coach that all of a sudden their revenue just got cut in half for no reason they even understand. And it takes them 30 to 60 days to figure out what's going on and formulate a plan to solve that. Look, as entrepreneurs, the bottom line, this happens all the time. There is a need for money, and all of a sudden it becomes urgent and it becomes a very short period of time you have to get it. Now, my first advice here is plan ahead. Plan ahead. I don't know how to tell. I cannot say this enough, and I'm going to continue to scream it as loud as I can scream it. I absolutely predict that we will have a recession coming up this year or next. And those people that are not financially preparing themselves right now are going to be in big trouble. This probably isn't going to be a scenario where we're going to get all these bailouts from the government. So what happens? Do you have the credit lines? Do you have the credit cards? Do you have access to the capital you need? If you plan ahead, you might not need to have urgent money quickly and need to get it within a day or 2 days. So plan ahead, but that still, for the sake of this conversation, there's still a lot of scenarios where you're going to need money quickly. Now, you got to keep in mind that comes at a price. You're going to pay higher interest rates. You're going to pay shorter terms. You're going to have lower approval amounts than you typically would with other kind of financing credit, where you give it more time to be done the right way. So always plan ahead. And for example, we're in process right now. We just got a loan closed with our bank for $300,000 because we're preparing. We understand. We see what's happening with the economy. We want to be prepared. We understand that you go get money before you need it. The economy changes, recession, any of these things happen. All of a sudden, everybody has a need for the same thing at the same time. Everybody's trying to apply for credit financing, and banks are pulling back at that same time. It just creates a disastrous scenario. So again, you don't want to pay higher interest rates, shorter terms. You want to get money in advance, but for the sake of knowing if you need money quickly, you're going to have some trade-offs here. You're going to ultimately be coming in and paying higher interest rates and having short terms. By the way, if you're just coming in, make sure you tell me where you're coming in from. I always like to say hello, like Terry here came in and said, good day from Atlanta. And I always love that, so I appreciate it. Hey, Hamilton says, hey, I'm in Atlanta too. Atlanta seems to be a popular spot. Who else is in Atlanta out there? Please give us a shout out and tell us where you're coming in from. So some lenders just can't do it. You got to know that. You don't go to your bank if you want money quick. It's just not going to happen because they don't work very quickly. Now, surprisingly, really surprisingly, The loan that we just got with our bank was really fast, one of the fastest loans I've ever been able to get. But it's because we keep a lot of cash in the bank accounts with them. We had all of our paperwork in line. So some lessons to be learned there. If you want to get larger amounts of money, they're going to take longer to get. But by having your financials in order and by building a relationship with your banker and keeping your money in one bank, then it makes it easier as your business gets bigger and more established to be able to get money from those sources faster, but they're not the fast sources. SBA are not fast loans. Okay. Big banks typically offer loans through SBA. The problem there is the bank, you have to meet their underwriting requirements. You have to meet SBA's underwriting requirements. The bank sends the deal to SBA. SBA's got to look at the deal. There's a whole time lag there. So again, SBA loans are tough. Big traditional banks, those are not the fastest ones. A lot of alternative lenders you're going to find are not fast either. And meeting the qualifications makes a difference. The less risk factors you have, the easier the deal is going to be to get done. So if you have somebody that comes in with good cash flow management, some kind of collateral, good credit, all of the 3 C's, this is somebody that's fairly easily going to be able to get money, even at decent terms, even if it is quicker. But when you don't have all these things, then again, the higher risk you are, the not the longer it's going to take, but the harder it is to access fast financing when you need it. Fundability, we're not going to decode fundability, but this is the importance of speed too. And this is why I preach so much about fundability. If you just set up your business right the first way, if you say, you know what, I'm going to do a Tyson today. I'm going to take 2 hours. I'm going to enroll with Credit Suite, walk through with their advisors. I don't care how you do it, but you got to get your fundability in line, because you don't want to all of a sudden need money quick and then you realize that your entity isn't set up right. You've got the wrong NAICS code. It looks like fraud because your business address is everywhere. All that stuff slows down the process. Okay. And I've been there before. I've been through SBA loans that we literally lost months of time, because of things that we didn't have set up the right way. It's why we preach fundability so much now. It's why we talk about LexisNexis and check systems and all these credit reporting agencies that lenders use and how you need to get those reports and make sure these things are in line. They might be a small item on a to-do list that you say, okay, LexisNexis ordered the report, done. Then you get in the mail and then you automatically want to fix anything that's wrong because you're like, that's not right. This is what lenders are saying. And so you'll take it into baby steps to get it done. But get your fundability set up the right way. If this is done the right way, your fundable foundation is set up, then it's just really a big step towards helping you actually come in and get the money quicker when you actually need it quickly. Okay, so fast business loans are possible, even if you have bad credit, even if you're a startup, even if you do not have collateral. We're going to talk about options today, specific sources, specific programs that work for all of these. But you just need to know, just because you want money quick and you think you can't get it because you have credit issues or you're just starting this, these things aren't accurate. I'm going to talk about options where you can get funding in any of these scenarios. But you need to know, again, it is more difficult. You're not going to get as favorable terms as if you were somewhere else. And West Palm Beach is in the house here. We got to say hello from Mad Max is in the house. And Wisconsin. Donna, thanks for coming in from Wisconsin. And we've got Palm Beach. Raymond is in here as well. Mark from Houston. Mark, thanks for coming in. Mark's a partner with us in our Credit Suite program as well. So anybody that wants to be a partner, come to the Business Loan Broker Challenge. We'll talk a little bit about that there. You can get in at businessloanbrokerchallenge.com. It's free and it takes place March 21st. Okay, so it's going to cost more. Even if you have high risk factors, credit score, no collateral, you just got to know you're going to pay more. And this is oftentimes something that I say is that, look, first of all, interest rate doesn't matter. And this is why I say this. You write off the interest anyways. If I pay $1,000 on a loan in interest, I write it off. I get $1,000 back as a discount on my taxes, right? So I get, or maybe not called a discount, whatever an accountant wants to call it. I pay $1,000 direct deduction from that interest and get the money back. But the second thing and reason I say this is that, look, if the loan makes sense, then the interest doesn't really matter. And what I mean by that, I'll give you an example, is that we had a guy that owned a bottling, a beverage, like an energy drink company, and he sent the stuff out to get bottled. And he paid higher interest than what he wanted to pay because his credit was bad. Well, you're high risk, you pay higher interest. But the reality is he still made a fortune in bringing it in-house. Like the very first month, he made like $75,000 more in profit because he didn't have to outsource one of the most expensive parts of his business. So it doesn't matter that he pays, 10 grand or 5 grand in interest when he saved 75? Not really. The benefit way outweighs the cost, especially if he gets that money back anyways. But the other reason I say that interest rate doesn't matter is because it's your fault. I'm sorry, but it is. Time in business, the industry code, the NAICS that you chose, whether you don't have business credit or do, whether you have bad challenge personal credit. These things are completely within your control to fix. You can improve your fundability. You can work with a credit repair company to fix your consumer credit. You can build your business credit. You can do these things and be in a way better situation to get money quickly and to be able to get money in better terms. So just know that what causes interest rates to be higher is all things you can directly control to make them lower by building business credit, fixing consumer credit, these type of things. So when we talk about fast loans, there's any number of different things they're going to look at. Credit worthiness. Do you have business credit established? Do you have personal credit that's good? Do you have assets that can be served as collateral? How's your annual revenue? How long have you had the revenue for? Are you managing your bank accounts responsibly, for example? So approvals happen a lot faster if you actually have a lot of these things. Okay, if you have these things that are put together, your fundability's in line, your consumer credit's not as banged up because you've done some work on that, business credit's established, it's going to be easier and faster for you to get money. So how do you qualify? Well, all funding sources are the same, or not the same. We talked about this on Tuesday, where we talked about the 3 C's: cash flow, credit, collateral. So lenders look at one of these 3 things. There's lenders that lend you money just based on cash flow. There's lenders that lend you money just based on having an asset that you serve up as collateral. There's lenders that just lend you money because you have business credit established. You have consumer credit established. So the qualifications are different for each one of these different buckets of funding because, you know, a lender that's lending you money based on cash flow doesn't really care about credit. They don't really care about collateral. A lender that's lending you money based on collateral, they don't really care about your cash flow. They don't really care about your credit. So the qualifications different for each of these verticals because what they're looking for is different. So let's talk about our picks, a quick overview. So we'll talk about more than just these today, but my favorites are Fundbox. We'll talk about their credit line. We'll talk about merchant cash advances, cash flow financing. Let's talk about credit line hybrid too. These are 3 of the faster funding sources that are easier to get approved for. There's also invoice factoring, real estate loans, equipment loans as well. We're going to dive into all of those and discuss as well because definitely some cool things you could do there. And everybody coming in, thanks for saying hello. Alliance for Reason and Knowledge, thanks for coming in and saying good morning. Hello from Arcadia, Florida. Lee is coming in as well from Birmingham, Alabama. What's up? And I really appreciate Asha. Asha is sharing with multiple people here. So what she's doing is she's actually coming in and sharing with other people to bring them into the stream. And I really appreciate that. So if you're getting value from this, share. Let's help as many entrepreneurs as we can. SBA Express loans we're going to talk about today. Friends, family, a lot of options here. So let's dive in with the first one, Fundbox. Fundbox is my favorite credit line that exists. And you can go to creditsuite.com/Fundbox to get preferential treatment and better pricing for them. creditsuite.com/Fundbox. They only look at 6 months time in business. They really prefer you have a 600 plus type FICO score, 10,000 or 100,000 or more in annual revenue. These are basic requirements of what they're not basic per preferences of what they're looking for. We've seen people approve with less than 600 FICO scores and less than 100,000 revenue, but this is mainly what they're looking for. It's a fast, easy to get credit line. Usually the credit line approvals are a little bit less, smaller. They're like 10,000 or less in the beginning. Then if you send tax returns, they'll bump you up to 20, 30, 50,000 range. Then if you pay them as agreed and you have it for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, they'll typically bump you up to $100,000 credit line or higher. Of all the credit lines I've ever worked with, this is the easiest to get approved for. And the reason it's on our fastest list is because it's done through what's called AI, artificial intelligence in lending. And what AI is doing in lending is the lenders are now electronically looking at what they need to without needing documentation from you. So Fundbox will ask you for bank account login. Their algorithm their software, or I should say their software, their tech goes right into your bank account. It underwrites, and then it gives a near immediate approval. So, I mean, within an hour, you're typically approved with them, and same day, you're getting a real credit line, access to a real credit line within 24 hours. Pretty solid. And again, a credit line up to $150,000 they offer, and 0.5% interest for every week the money's outstanding. So if you're borrowing the money, paying it back fairly quickly, it can be really, really, really cheap money. And it also works for high-risk industries too. I've helped friends of mine, for example, in credit box secure these. So creditsuite.com/fundbox, one of my fastest credit lines to be able to secure. MCAs, merchant cash advances. Merchant cash advances aren't really loans. They're really selling your future revenue at a discount rate. It's complicated, so we call them loans, but that is what it is. And with MCAs, you just need 6 months worth of time in business, about $5,000 a month worth of revenue. And if you have that, there's a good chance you can get approved. Now, MCAs, typically you're able to get approved and fund within less than 72 hours, as little as 24 hours we've seen. And what they're really looking for here is two different things. First of all, they're going to look at your bank statements. They just want to make sure you're managing your bank account responsibly. I've done trainings just on what that means. It means you got more money going into bank account than going out every month. You have money sitting in the bank account at the end of each month, or a positive ending bank balance. It means you don't have a bunch of non-sufficient funds. Bottom line, if you're managing your bank account responsibly, then there's a good chance you can get approved. The second thing they want to see is chargebacks. They're going to get your credit card statements. And if they see an abnormal or unusual amount of chargebacks on there, well, then that could definitely create an issue. So some things to look out for. You definitely want to minimize chargebacks. You want to have proper bank account management. If so, you can do two things. You can do merchant cash advance, which is easier to get, $5,000 a month in revenue, 6 months time in business. You can also do a cash flow financing deal too. The difference is cash flow financing, harder to qualify for. 10 months, $10,000 a month in revenue versus MCA, which is $5,000. 1 year time in business versus 6 months worth in an MCA. Typical. There are exceptions, but these are the normal. Okay. But cash flow financing looks at all the money going into your bank account, not just credit cards. So if you accept checks from your customers, cash from your credit customers, and credit cards, cash flow financing works better because they're going to lend you money based on all the money that goes into your bank account, not just credit card transactions like merchant cash advances. So fast, easy money, 24 to 72 hours, unsecured, no collateral needed for these. And you can also get approved even if you have challenged credit. Some lenders have no credit score requirements. Many of the lenders that do, the requirement's 500 scores, 500 FICO. So, I mean, very easy to get approved for. As we talked about, again, higher risk means higher rates. But these are really good ones to start with MCA's cash flow financing. Now, the next is credit line hybrid. These are credit lines up to 150 grand. They're unsecured. They're no doc. You don't need collateral. You don't need to have cash flow. You can get them as a startup. All that's really needed to get approved is personal credit that's good, 680, 700 type FICO. If you don't have good credit, then you can go with a guarantor that does, a family member, a friend, a potential investor. Oftentimes, a lot of people want to invest in businesses but don't want to do the work. But they'll gladly come in and they'll give you a rate of return. They'll pay you a fee interest, maybe even want ownership equity in the business, a small share of ownership interest, and they'll sign for you as a guarantor to help you get 150 grand. These are available at 0%. You can take cash out at 0%. 0% usually goes up to 18 months. And a lot of these credit lines report to the reporting agencies. So what happens in that scenario is that you're actually able to build business credit at exactly the same time as getting credit lines. I mean, you can't complain about that. That's pretty awesome. Okay. So here we go. And Tristan, thanks for coming in. Tristan says, second day in a row in your lives today. Coming in from Columbus, Ohio, trying to order as much as possible, as quickly as possible. Well, you're in the right place because you're not going to find anybody that talks faster than I do. And I apologize for that, but that's just the way my brain works. So sometimes people criticize me on that. But we will learn a lot fast. And we can see here that Tiffany is actually coming in and doing the same thing, sharing the stream. And thank you for Tiffany. That helps us help more people. Lydia's in the house from San Antonio. And there's Tiffany continuing on her quest to help as many people as possible, inviting them into the stream. Tiffany, that means a lot. I really appreciate you doing that for all of us. Okay. So that being said, invoice financing. This is called factoring. It's called AR financing. It's called AR factoring. It's called account receivable financing. It's called invoice financing. I'm out of breath just trying to say the names that this all goes for. But there's a lot of different options here. So, and I probably should have said invoice financing. I'm going to go two different directions here. First of all, invoice financing, as I just now look at this, is probably talking about another kind of product. So let me talk about two here. There's AR financing, account receivable financing, AR factoring, and just called AR funding. So this has to do with if your customers pay you on terms. So if your customers are paying you on terms now and you need fast money, with AR financing, you can get money as quick as 24 hours, letting a lender collect on that financing for you. They basically then pay you 90% of whatever's outstanding right away. So my customers owe me, $100,000 over the next 6 months. I'm supposed to get paid. AR factoring can get me 90% of that, 90 of that 100 grand next day. And then I get the rest of the 10% when that customers pay their full invoices. So I don't have to wait to get paid like you typically do for AR financing. Now, second kind of financing here, which I overlooked at the beginning, is invoice financing. Invoice financing is where we basically come in and we basically use invoices to be able to get financing. So for example, these can be purchase order financing, oftentimes can fall into this category as well. And along this line, even if it's not an invoice, we can talk about inventory financing as well. So if you have inventory right now, you could borrow against that inventory in a very short period of time, 3 days or less, and be able to get a credit line against the inventory. So now we've talked about invoice financing, we've talked about AR financing, and we also talked about inventory financing. So 3 different options for fast, easy money there. Equipment financing, let's say you need to get a piece of equipment quickly. Let's also say you own equipment, you need to get it. You own it free and clear. You could borrow against equipment you already own. It's called a equipment sale leaseback. It's called an equipment sale leaseback financing. And again, very uncommon. Most people don't know about this. But it's where you can use a big piece of equipment, borrow against it to get money and get it pretty quickly, usually same week. You can also get money fairly quick too to buy equipment. So maybe you're in an urgent situation that you need a piece of equipment to fix the problem. And you can come in and get this, not have to get loans and credit lines to pay for it, but actually get specialized financing that's just for the purpose of buying and refinancing equipment to be able to get it. And that's fairly easy to get as well. SBA Express, they have an express loan where if you're borrowing less than $350,000, you can get approved. Oftentimes, believe it or not, with these 7(a) loans, you can get money within 30 days. I mean, you can get approved sometimes within 72 hours or less, 24 to 72 hours in most cases. And then with underwriting requirements and getting them documentation and everything else, you can actually get the deal done in less than a month versus months. It's called SBA Express. It's only offered by certain SBA Express lenders. If you want to find one or find help with any of these programs, just give us a call. You can also go to the bottom of my slides here, the link, creditsuite.com/get funding, and we can help you get approved. But SBA does have a fast option with SBA Express. It's even faster if you're a veteran coming in this route. So if you're a veteran, if you're looking for money quick, you want to look at SBA Express. It can absolutely be a fantastic way for you to get the money you need. And again, Teresita, I think I pronounced that right. But thank you so much. The second time this week I've seen you sharing this to everybody and bringing them in. It really means a lot. And David is coming in too. Okay, David, hello, everyone. Mr. Proximity in the building. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you coming in and saying hello. Okay, so friends and family, not always ideal, but you can absolutely go this route. A lot of people are familiar with angel investing. What a lot of people don't know is angel investing actually has 2 different types. One is called affiliated angels, and these are friends and family. These are people affiliated with you. They're in your circle. And there's unaffiliated angels. That's what most people think about when they think about angel investing. Somebody you don't know that's just willing to contribute money into your startup business to get it launched. Well, what most people don't realize is unaffiliated angels, people you don't know, almost all of them will not get involved unless an affiliated angel is already there. Meaning that people that don't know you don't want to invest into your startup venture if other people that do know you aren't willing to. Right? That makes sense. Like, why would I invest in you if the people in your own circle won't invest in you? So what I'm saying here is that most angel investing comes as a second stage. The first stage of funding is affiliated angels. It's people going to family member and friends to be able to get money. As a matter of fact, 75% of entrepreneurs get money this way. But let me give you a little caveat here. Okay, you don't need to go to your family and friends to get cash. You can use their credit, good credits, assigned as a guarantor. You could use funding or assets they have as collateral to borrow against to get money. Stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRAs. Maybe grandpa has an old backhoe in his backyard that he hasn't been using. So some things to think about here. Family member and friends, you could go to them for money. You could even pay them interest. You could even pay them a set fee. You could even give them ownership interest in your business so it's not a handout. A lot of us, when we think about family and friends, we think, well, I don't want to go to my family and friends for a handout. Then don't make it a handout. Then go to them and say, hey, look, I'm going to give you 5% ownership interest in the business, 1%, 2%. I'm going to pay you 8% return on the money that you're borrowing from me. You know, a lot of people in my circle look for these opportunities all the time. Where are businesses we can invest in that we get 8 to 10% annualized return? So if they had somebody they believe in and they have a chance to make 8, 10% of their money, they're going to put the money there. They don't want to do the work. They want to get return on their money. So family and friends, you don't have to just go ask them for money. You could make them an owner. You could give them interest. You could pay them money back. Plus, if you're going to give me $2,000, then I'll give you, $500 in a year, and you make whatever percent on your money. The other option here is to use their credit as a guarantor. With credit line hybrid, the only way that would hurt them is if you defaulted on the credit lines. But if they lent you the money, then they would be hurt anyways because you didn't pay them back. So credit line hybrid is a great way to go. You're building your business credit and they're signing as a guarantor. We do, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of those every year. Half of all the people we help with credit line hybrid have bad credit. They're using a family member, friend, or somebody else as a guarantor. It's how they get approved. And again, stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRA. Does somebody around you have those things? Because you can leverage those to be able to get funding, get it quickly. And again, they don't lose unless you default and pay. So let me give you an example. If I go to my dad and say, Dad, I need 25 grand to launch this business. I need it this week. My dad could sell his stocks to give me the 25 grand, pay penalties and not earn interest on those stocks. Or I can get him a securities-based loan, get him the money quickly. He still earns interest on the stocks like he always has. And now I'm using those stocks to get a credit line that I can actually use to grow the business. So he still gets the rate of return, doesn't have to liquidate the stocks, doesn't have to pay penalties. And at the same time, he's investing in my business. I'm getting a rate of return on the growth of the business that I can even pay him back for. So again, those are not just friends and family giving you money, a lot of different options here that can work for you where they can help you. They could be an affiliated angel. They could come in and help you be a guarantor. They could help you pledge stocks, collateral, these type of things as well. And Danisha, thank you very much for sharing as well. I really appreciate everybody sharing today. So to recap, look, sometimes you need money fast, but let's be honest, you need to start preparing in advance and you need to have the foresight to look at what's coming up in the future. I have a system. I've read a lot of books and developed a system to check on economic conditions to predict when something's going wrong. There's all kinds of leading indicators or signs that tell us that the economy is about to change. When I start to see that those things happen and the economy starts to change, I tell everybody what I'm seeing, like I am now, but then we also start to stockpile cash. We start to be conservative with our spending, pull back on things, keep money and more money in the bank, get every kind of loan or credit line we can secure. So we're ready to go. We know what's going to happen, and then we can take advantage when everybody else is pulling back. Look, when COVID hit, so many people pulled out of places like Facebook and Google that our ad spend dropped in half, which meant I could spend half as much money to get the same amount of leads I was before COVID. Okay, real estate dropped. Businesses go on flash sales up for sale. There's all kinds of buying opportunities for new businesses. Okay, let me put it this way. When I went in the Air Force, my dad said to me, son, I'm going to tell you something very important. He said, soldiers are all going to spend their money when they get paid. And then as they get closer to the end of that pay period, they don't have any money. What you need to do is save and conserve your money. And then when that time period comes, you need to lend it to them and earn interest on it. My dad, obviously financial services like I was, president of a bank, right? But it was great advice. I made a lot of money in the military by following that advice, because the bottom line is, if you prepare properly and you're sitting on cash, you get loans or credit lines before you need them, then others aren't prepared. And then when the crap hits the fan, right? The economy changes, COVID hits, then everybody else goes into panic mode, and you have all these insane opportunities to advertise and spend more, insane opportunities to buy other businesses, to buy assets you need for your businesses. To buy real estate. There's all these crazy opportunities that present themselves, but most people can't take advantage of it because they're not financially prepared. It's why you need to be prepared. So instead of relying on waiting for fast money, make sure you come in and do the things that you need to do now to prepare to start getting that money and locking down the money before you need it. Now, get yourself prepared, improve your fundability, start building your business credit, work on consumer credit, the things that lenders look for. If you have a chance now and you're not desperate for money, get those things in line now. So when you do need money quick, you don't have to worry about all that stuff. All that stuff is all in a really good place. If you need money quickly, we talked about a lot of options. You have to think about the 3 C's. What's your strength? Cash flow, credit, or collateral. Traditional banks, alternative lenders. We do want to stay away from these guys. SBA, they're not our source unless we go with an SBA Express. Instead, we want to look at what's our strength. I have cash flow. Then we want to look at merchant cash advances, cash flow financing, fund bonds, right? Maybe my strength is good credit or a guarantor that has good credit. Then we want to look at credit line hybrid or On the other C, we want to work on building business credit too. Then the third C is that collateral, right? We have stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRAs. We have invoices. We have account receivables. We have equipment. We have inventory. I think maybe I said inventory twice. You get the idea. Those assets can be pledged to get really fast money as well. But you have to figure out what your strength is. Do you have cash flow credit or collateral? Which one of those do you have? Leverage that. I gave you money funding on each vertical to get money on that you now know about. And the other alternatives, if you have none of those, you need to start building business credit. It's going to give you a fundable, it's going to help your business basically fund itself if you build business credit. So next time we're going to talk about personal credit, how it can kill your business funding chances and what you need to know about it, what funding you can get with bad credit, what funding is more harder to get with bad credit, how to fix and address the credit issues you have. A lot of things like this to position you better if you have credit issues to still be able to get financing. We'll be covering that next time. Don't forget, if we can ever help you get funding, give us a call. Okay, this is what we do. We don't charge you any money to get funding. Lenders are going to charge you interest rates and fees, and we negotiate those to get those even lower because we do so much volume with the lenders. We can graduate you from program to program up to SBA loans. So again, if you want somebody to help you with financing, we work with every legitimate funding program that exists. We can do that. Give us a call at 877-600-2487 and get a finance assessment. The finance assessment will tell you all the funding you can get right now. We'll tell you stuff to fix with your fundability. We'll even, get your business credit reports at no cost and give you tips and tactics to build your business credit. Don't forget, 100% free event taking place March 21st called the Business Loan Broker Challenge. First time anything like this has been done. We literally bring together the top-minded gurus in the business that usually charge thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars for their training. We're bringing them together for a free event for you to teach you how to run a business loan brokerage company. If you have any interest in doing this as a secondary service, a primary service, we're going to teach you how to set up the business, how to help customers improve fundability, how to brand the business, how to set up your marketing, how to market, advertise. We're going to bring all the lenders in that you need to get signed up with so you can get signed up right there during the challenge and start offering loans. So many things we're going to do during this challenge. It's 100% free. It takes place March 21st. To be part of that, you're going to go to businessloanbrokerchallenge.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe. If you got value, share this with people so we can help more people. Hit that like button and go to creditsuite.com. In less than 2 minutes time, you can like and subscribe on all of our channels. We have daily tips on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We have 1-minute videos on TikTok and Instagram. We have thousands of videos on YouTube. We got a podcast you can listen to on the go. All the resources you need to build a successful business and get the capital you need to do so, you can access at the top right of the page, creditsuite.com. So make sure you check that out. Tristan says, hey, thanks. See you next time. Looking forward to it, Tristan. I will be out next week. It's spring break for me. So I'm taking my kids to Las Vegas. We're going to go see the Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam and David Copperfield and all kinds of stuff. But I will be back with you all the following week. And we're not shutting down. My team will fill in my absence there. And again, Tristan, I look forward to seeing you. Herbert coming in and saying hello. Thanks for everybody for giving me a shout out. And I appreciate that. Lucky Lee says, that's amazing. Thank you very much. A lot of people are pushing business credit, but don't understand they're really directing people to personal. Yeah, and I get that. Son of man, I understand that. And that's what we see a lot too. We've helped 50,000 people through this process. In the business credit world, we're the 800-pound gorilla in the room. And people often ask me, they say, why don't you stop all this misinformation? And I'm like, because there's not enough hours in the day to stop it. There's so many people that don't know what they're doing, or they'll build business credit for themselves, get a little, then think they know enough to teach a lot of people. And that's just not the case. What works for you will not work for somebody else in a different industry, in a different situation. You have to really have hundreds, if not thousands of people you've helped through this to start figuring out the norms of the industry, which is why I think so many people don't succeed on that. But I appreciate you noticing that and giving that comment. Okay, so I'm going to, we're in Germany. We're from Germany. Oh, Jahan, thank you very much for coming in from Germany. I appreciate that. That is awesome. And Herbert says, can I acquire a loan for my suit business? Sir, absolutely. We absolutely can help you with a lot of different kinds of financing. All you have to do is give us a call and we'll talk to you about that. That is absolutely an industry we could definitely help you with. And everybody says, thank you for great information. I appreciate that as well. And I appreciate everybody giving me a good thank you and saying hello. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm going to wrap up. I look forward to seeing you on our next training. We're talking about getting more cool ways to get money to start and grow your business. Don't forget to go to businessloanbrokerchallenge.com to register for a free challenge March 21st. And I look forward to seeing you on our next training where we talk about, again, how to get the most money at the best terms. Thanks for tuning in.